Hey everyone, this is Alexander from ABOM Academic Success Coaching, and in this video I'm just going to show you a few things that are hopefully going to be helpful on setting up your Anki and your FSRS so that they are working optimally for you when you go through a second pass. So what you're going to do is you're going to click the little cogwheel button and then go to options for your OnKing step deck or whatever deck you're going to be working through. And there's going to be a lot of information here, and a lot of it you won't really need to mess with, but it's worth just understanding kind of what it's going to do exactly when you start reviewing cards. So for learning steps, its default is 15 minutes. That means if you press again on a card, then you will see it 15 minutes later. For brand new learning cards, I've usually put my parameters at about 2 minutes to start. And then for relapses, I put 8 minutes. And that's just what I found is pretty useful. Using different like stats analysis that are also available in Anki is optimal for me. Feel free to try this if you want to, or leave it at the default and see how that works. Either way, you're going to get a feel for what works best for you and just adjust it as you go. The next thing that I adjust is the leech threshold. The idea of a leech is that if you see a card a bunch of times and you keep pressing again several times in a row, eventually Anki will label that card as a quote leech, and it will do one of two things. It will tag the card, and so every time you see that card and you press good or again or any button on that card, it's going to have a little box come up and say that card was a leech, or it will just suspend the card. Now, it can label any card as a leech, even a card that is tagged in, say, if we go to the browse window, there are a lot of cards that there's a lot of tags in the OnKing step deck that are really useful. There are cards that they label as, where is it? I think it might be in the other tags or something, but there's a group of tags that it labels as high yield, relatively high yield, low yield, etc. And so it could grab, oh, here we go. So high yield. So it could grab, if you press again, according to the parameters in the options window, if you press again 4 times in a row on a card that is labeled high yield in the high yield tags, then it'll slap that label onto a high yield card, and then you'll see that box, or it will just suspend the card after you press it that many times in a row. So I like to just avoid that issue completely because I really don't care about it that much. And so I just put the leech threshold at 10,000. And then new card gather order, there's a lot of different ways to do this. I've seen a few different ways of organizing it, like card type. One of them is really important though. Easy cards first for review sort order is probably the best one that you want to do for reviewing cards, because then that just means that you're going to get through your cards faster when you're going through your reviews. And other than that, there's a few different ways that I've seen people organize this stuff. It really doesn't make too much of a difference, but so you can leave these as the default, or you can have the new cards come before reviews, or you can show them after reviews, whatever it is. But for the reviews, I like to press easy cards first. Next thing is the FSRS desired retention rate. This is something that you can personalize. So if you want to see fewer cards but have a lower percentage of remembering the card, you can decrease the percentage and it'll just adjust the intervals accordingly. I think I have mine set to either 85 or 86% on my own profile. And so do with this as you wish. Some of you who are more OCD, you might tend to lean more towards the higher percentage, but above 90% is really not worth it. The intervals become really short and it just increases your workload by a lot very quickly. So 90% is generally the recommended highest desired retention rate that you want to put. As far as burying cards, this is me personally. I prefer not to bury new siblings because when I'm learning a concept, I want to get through all the cards in that second pass. all the way through. And oftentimes, seeing the same information but from different angles helps me to learn it a little bit more thoroughly during that second pass. So I just unclick this one and I leave the other two alone. I allow FSRS to bury reviewed siblings and bury interday learning siblings. And then all these other things look pretty good. Easy days, we don't need to mess with this. If you're worried about having too much work on the weekends, I'm going to make another video on how to adjust your Anki when you have your planned day off each week, if that's Sunday or if it's Sunday and Saturday, or if it's just Saturday. I'll show you how to make sure that your planned day off does not get ruined by 600 review cards that are due that day. So, and then this maximum interval, I believe this is I believe that's 5 years as the default. It might sound like a long time, like the longest that a card will be pushed into the future for you to see it again is 5 years. But using the entire learning process that we went over in the first video, don't worry about a card being pushed out by 3.7 years, because chances are you will see that concept again in some way, shape, or form, even if you don't see that particular card ever again in your medical school career. So now after you've made these adjustments, just press save, and then now you have all of the settings ready to go for doing that second pass. So if you have questions, guys, just feel free to reach out, and I'll see you in the next video.